All right, Adam, good to see you, mate. Thanks for taking the time to come on for a chat. How's it going?
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me. Yeah, going good. Just up in Naima at the moment and with the parents or mum and just got out of Melbourne. Well, it's
Mate,
good.
you're one of the lucky ones. Got across the border. I remember we played that afternoon. You got the news, and you literally packed your bag and off you went. 5 hours
Yeah,
later.
I think we played at 12:30 or something, and then I got home at 5, and I was up here by 9. I was up here by 10 or 11 o'clock, so I just made border cross. But probably the best thing I've done. There's it's not much to do up here other than play golf and chill out. But I didn't want to be stuck in Melbourne. No way, not at all.
Mate, we're in the second lockdown piece now, so yeah, you definitely made a good decision. I'm just happy the weather's bad, so everyone can stay inside and do the right thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's been pretty good up here. It's been probably the best winter they've had for a long time. We've only had probably 2 or 3 days of rain and
I
not
don't
that
want to
windy,
hear. I don't want to hear that
not
stuff.
cold. 18 degrees yesterday for a bit.
18 degrees. We haven't had above 14 here for like 2 months. It feels like, but got the heater on inside. Nothing's not. It's all good. It's all good. Well, let's introduce you to the listeners. Where did it all begin for you? When did you start playing golf? Give us a bit of a run through.
I think I played a little bit when I was younger with my grandparents and whatnot. And then, so we grew up in Echuca, moved to Melbourne in '04 when I was 10. I was playing baseball then. So
Baseball, really?
we're a baseball family. So dad's and my grandparents, my grandpa's a life member at Chelt Baseball Club. So we're playing there.
Ah,
And then went to St. Bede's College in Mentone, and Rossdale Golf Club were giving out 2 scholarships to young guys because they needed members. So I applied for that, got that, and then I got over baseball pretty quick after that. So I stopped playing baseball at about 15. So about a year and a half into playing full-time golf was no more baseball.
yeah.
And moved back up to Echuca, and golf went from not that playing off about 12 or something to I got to about +2 in about 12 months.
Jeez,
So
mate.
that was a pretty quick, dramatic, pretty quick way. And then I went to College of Elite Golf for 1 year.
Yep.
Had enough of that, so I left and then moved back to Echuca with mum again. And then I got a job offered a traineeship at Yarrawonga. So did that.
So how was the traineeship? When you just like, perfect, I'm going to do it. I've definitely something I've never looked at. I don't know if I could do it. Sit in a pro shop for a while. You hear everyone saying doing their time in the pro shop, but what was it like? What was the trainee life like?
It was pretty good. Like, I wasn't, before going into the traineeship, I was like, well, I'm going to turn pro in 4 or 5 years. So it was a bit of a waiting game. And when I got offered the job from Evan Droop at Yarrawonga, it was sort of like, well, I might as well go and do it. Like, getting paid to sort of learn and get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I was sort of starting the traineeship, I didn't want to play afterwards. I just wanted to coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got better through the traineeship. And then I started winning trainee events and top 5 in Australia and all that sort of stuff in the averages. And I was like, oh, I'm going to play. And then that's what it was like. But I mean, Evan Drew he's an absolute legend and had a good boss. So he was able to give me enough time off to play events within sort of this, what you had with, and work the amount of hours you're supposed to work too. So you sort of work extra days and he'd give you a few extra off and all that sort of stuff. So they were really good like that because Evan's been through it all and he's done it and he did his traineeship and then played for a few years and then, so he knows what it was like. So, but working up there was probably best experience of my life. Was
perfect. Three years?
Yeah, 3 years. So I think you get 3 years, 38 hours a week, and you got about 40 assignments a year. So I didn't finish year 12. So I was like, this is going to be a bit of a struggle trying to do the assignments, but I got through it. And the third year is probably your toughest during the middle of the year.
I can imagine balancing the golf and everything as well.
Yeah. Because if you're trying to, you want to play at the end of your traineeship in that middle year, you want to play a couple of tour events and stuff, but you've got 30, 25 hours a week in assignments to do. It builds up pretty quick. So if you're not on top of it, you get stuck behind too.
Yeah.
But the PGA, I'd recommend it to anyone that's sort of on the verge of what do they do, if they want to play or they want to do a traineeship, then it sort of gives you that 3 years to work out, well, am I good enough to go and play and sort of and learn to play for a bit of money rather than going to school and then you go straight into pro-am life and you haven't played for money before and you just sort of go through the
it's not for everyone. That
No,
pro-am life is not for everyone. But the trainee life, I'm just balancing my my school now enrolled in like an online course online and a uni course, and I'm just like, all right, you got to literally set aside time, and you've got to like prioritize that stuff because you'll get lost. You literally get behind, and I can imagine if I was playing more events, I'd literally have to be so regiment on that, or you literally just can't finish or pass or get a grade you want to kind of set yourself up. But it sounds like you had the best of both worlds up in Yarrawonga for sure.
Yeah, we did. Like we had a good roster too. So you'd work open to close all your days, and you work 14 days a month, 14 out of 28. So
Jeez.
but there, but in summer in winter there might not be as many hours.
Yeah.
So you get down years, but in summer you're doing 14-hour days for 4 days or whatnot. So it worked out good. It worked out pretty evenly. If you owed a few hours, you'd come in on a day off, or you'd do stay a few hours or cover someone else, or they worked out pretty good. So they've got a pretty good system up there and what they do. And
lovely.
And all the members are great up there too.
Yeah, I've heard that. I haven't been up there actually yet. I've heard it's the golfing mecca of the north. It's
amazing.
Across the wall or the border or whatever it is now. It's kind of. I'm just trying to leave my town or house, but we'll get there eventually. So you did your 3 years. You're fully certified and everything, and decided the pro-am life is for me, the tour life, and how was that when you made the transition across?
I think the first year I was you sort of go in a little bit like, don't know what to expect. So you sort of have to, the first year I traveled a lot with Chris Muick and Ryan Lynch. Yep. So they've been doing it for a while. So I sort of learnt pretty quickly what to do and what not to do. Or where, just sort of how to save a bit of coin here and there and travel together. And so they were really good on helping me and whatnot. But pro-am life it gets pretty, and as you know, it gets very draining after 5 or 6 weeks when you're sort of on the road all the time. So I mean, it's a bit of a grind, but you sort of learn your craft pretty quick. It cuts out the bad players pretty quick, because if they're not making that $200 or $300 a game, they got no money to get to the next event. And
it seems like that. If you can't break par every round, you're kind of wasting your time.
Yeah, your bad rounds have got to be no more than 1 or 2 over maximum, and your average rounds are got to be 2 to 3 under, and your good ones have got to be lower than that if you want to win now, especially with the scores the guys have been shooting now. Like,
mate, if Tim Hart's in the field, you got to shoot 10 under to win. It feels like he's a Mr. Pro-Am jet.
He's leading the order again.
Oh mate, he's unbelievable. Geez, if he can break through, he'll literally win a major, because it's just unbelievable.
I think he's wiping his bum with $50 notes at the moment.
Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, it does get a bit. Yeah, pro-am off, and then what else? And then had the tour card. I went to Japan Q school.
I remember speaking last year. You went to Japan.
Yeah. So the first year I got through Q school all the way through to final stage. I finished about the top 90 play 220 play the 4 rounds, and there's a cut top 90. I play the last 2. So I remember I got in on the last. I think I shot 500 to get through the last one. Like as in to get through to the last one.
Yeah. To get your challenge, even if you to get
your challenge. Yeah. Then played challenge tour for the year. I played a few events, had a bulging disc, and that sort of threw me back. So
what was the challenge tour up there like? What's the secondary tour?
It's pretty good, pretty well run. There's a couple of Aussies over there too. So I think I was traveling with Townsend a lot and Aaron Wilkin.
Yep.
About $180,000 events, and they were 3 rounders.
Yeah, perfect.
So the scheduling was a little bit tough because they sort of try and get rid of the foreigners and make it a lot harder for them. So some guys, you'd only play. I think there was 12 events. I think I played about 7 or 8 or something like that. So then obviously the challenge tour, the top 20 money list get main tour status the following year.
Yep.
So there was 5 the year before I started over there. So I think you had to make about 30 grand to get through out of the 12 events.
Yeah,
it's high.
You still got to play well. Yeah, jeez.
You have to play well. Like if you're not shooting, 13 to 15 for 3 days, you're not winning. And you had to get to sort of 8 to 10 to finish top 5. But the depth over there is just as good as over here too.
It's hard to beat people in their own country. That's
and they just hit it high and straight. And
well, that's you, mate. You hit it high, straight.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, most of the time. You got that baseball background. I didn't realize that. Now I was thinking about, when you said that, I was thinking about your swing. I'm like, yeah, it kind of looks like he loads that right side. Yeah, that actually looks like a baseball swing now that I think of it. But
I get stuck behind it a bit.
that's all right. You got the underhand. It's like it all makes sense now. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
But so what happened? Bulging disc? What happened? You're playing an event?
Where we went from Melbourne to Cal.
Yeah.
And then we played Cal over. I'd been in Japan 2 weeks before. So it was just travel and not stretching and not doing the right exercises. And the trip that killed, it was we went Kalgoorlie to Perth to Brisbane to Japan. And then I went there. No, there was like 4 or 5 flights in 26 hours. And I got off the plane and went straight to the course and had a practice round and didn't really stretch much. And that was when I was just on the tee and I had his shot and I was like, oh, that's a bit sore. So over there, they've got their onsens and ice bath and the cold baths after the round. So I had that, thought it was fine. Got through the first round, it's a bit sore. Second round, got through, made the cut. And then the third round, that was when it really played up. And then we got home and tried to get me moving again. It just wouldn't go. So that was like 8 weeks. It was on the cortisone tablets and all your whatever other stuff you can. Yeah,
just trying to get on the park.
It was. I've never experienced pain like that and I wouldn't want to do it. But that just shows if you don't sort of stretch and you don't do your exercises, how quickly it can go the other way.
Yeah, there's so much to say about all these traveling. Like we kind of, before COVID and all that stuff, like you just get on a plane and off you go. And like I remember when I was doing Latino America, it was like if I flew in on a Monday, I would never, ever try play a practice round that afternoon because I was just hopeless. Like I just... Without a stretch, a long lunch, kind of have a coffee and figure out what I'm doing in life. I didn't even feel like I was present in a practice round or like anything like that. Yeah.
You need to do that sometimes to just worry about your body rather than you still got a few days till the event. It's not like, you probably fly in on a Monday. You don't need to practice for 3 hours or something. You can sort of sacrifice that a little bit to look after your body a little bit also too.
It's your biggest asset. We've got to take care of this thing. We're getting old now.
You don't really. You're getting old. I'm still young.
You're still a pup, mate. I'm 30 now. It's over, apparently.
Oh, dude, dirty 30.
Dirty 30. It's over. Gee. But what's some of the challenges you've noticed so far in being a pro? Like it's obviously all the normal ones. Like it is a tough word out there to make it.
I think in Australia too, pro-am, like playing pro-ams, the hardest thing is. If you know you've got nothing on, you want to go play pro-ams and stuff, you don't go and play it, you feel like you're sort of missing out a little bit. Not missing out, but you want to play everything. If there's an event, you want to go and play it, where sometimes you need to just sort of structure it a little bit. So I'm going to take so much time off here because, it's like the end of our year, we get burnt out very quickly because we have so many events. So when you throw in Q schools as well, so it's sort of managing time and events a lot more. I found that's probably the hardest part, and managing your money.
Yeah, managing money
in Australia.
Yeah, you earn enough if you play well to kind of just get through to the bigger events. Like your pro-ams is like your base to make a bit of cash, but the importance of saving money and scheduling your weeks. How many weeks do you think is the perfect amount for you to play? Like pro-am weeks, say you played
straight.
Yeah, say you played 3-4 pro-ams in a week. You count that as 1-2 a week. And there's like 8-9 events. How many would be the ideal for you? Like, what would you recommend?
I think 5 weeks on the road I need to have a break after 4 or 5 weeks. I'll play 5 or 6 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to have at least a week off of just sort of. You can even be away. Just stop. Yeah. Just play some golf rather than competitive golf and just refresh it and go again. I got burnt out last year in the year. I think we had 14 out of 16 weeks in a row with pro-ams, Q schools, Japan Q school, and then all your tour events. And then we had that 2 weeks, a week and a half off over Chrissy, and then you're back to Q school in Australia again.
It's such a drain. Like I've had this conversation with a few people about what's the ideal like amount of weeks you should play in a year. And I don't know, like I think it's closer to 30. Like if you could play 30 weeks, like pretty flat out, and then you kind of structure your other weeks around kind of resting and just not thinking about golf. Like I've had like it feels like 4 months of lockdown, so I haven't really played at all. And it's been like mentally, I'm like, oh, geez, you're supposed to wake up in the morning feeling like this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, refreshed and ready to go. Yeah, 30 weeks is enough. But if you played 30 weeks of pro-ams, I'd probably feel a lot more than 30 weeks, potentially.
Yeah, I think we've spoken about this while playing pro-ams. It's most of the time you get your good groups, and there's some that you might get one in the week, and it feels like it's 2 months worth of just.
Yeah.
I never want to play a pro-am again, whether it's they're stepping on your line or like telling you where to go and they hit it or it's a handful of things. What's have you got any classic stories like that? I've got a couple.
I've got a couple. So there was one pro-am. I won't say where it is because the club were deeply sorry about it. And rocked up, and there was an ex-footy player playing as well, and so he's sort of the second hole he walked over my line, but he didn't have dress shoes on, and they're sharing clubs, and he's like, oh, I'm like, the other guy was in the group was a family friend, so he's walked over my line, scuffed the line, tried to fix it, and then he goes, we're walking up the next hole. He goes, so what's the charity for today? And it's a $25,000 pro-am. He didn't know. They thought we were playing for charity, like raising money and stuff. So that happened. Then the other guy in the cart got maggoted, like blind. He was like going off his head just the whole day, just being an idiot. Started driving carts over tees and greens.
Oh, that's unlucky though. That's like 1%.
Yeah,
we're generally
that's probably
really
that's
good.
The worst one I've had there. But that's the one that stands out the most. So then he's trying to say I'm not sponsoring you. I'm like, I didn't ever ask for the sponsorship, and it turned out to be, after that the next day I got a phone call from him apologising, saying I was drunk and all that sort of stuff, and it was fine. But they're the ones you might get 1 in 50 pro-ams, not that bad or
nah.
But yeah, I've had guys that sort of it's like you guys that sort of don't want to be there much, because they're sort of there because the sponsors they
see it as like, it's a day off work. You see a lot of
work, day
off work. I'd never played golf before. Day off work.
Yeah,
we're trying to make a living out there. Sometimes it can be like, just draining. But it's not. It's literally minor. Like so many times you
1%.
You meet people
1%,
and you're friends with them for the rest of your life. Like if you go like places like Wagga and like somewhere in Adelaide, Murray
Bridge or something.
Murray Bridge, you've met a family who will put you up for the week for the rest. Like anytime you go there, and we're so lucky that the billet system in Australia, like everyone's.
I've got a billet in Barham, and whenever we go to Murray Downs or Barham or anywhere that way, I go and stay with her. And I actually went over. She rings me at least be once every 3 months, just rings for a chat and says, how you going? And we ring back and all that sort of stuff. And they've like people like that, you don't meet those sort of people without playing pro-ams.
Yeah. So there's so much good to it. Like I got a friend who actually still plays Words with Friends with one of his billets. And I'm thinking that game's like completely old and like, what are you doing, mate? But it's a pretty funny tour, especially the Pro-Am tour. But yeah, I think there's so much time off the course. Definitely. What other challenges have you had? I've plenty. I've spoken about so many of them. Like mentally, it's tough. Like on the road all the time. What are some things you've dealt with, and kind of how have you overcome?
As in when you sort of struggle, what it's like when you're getting a bit low on coin, and you're like, I don't know how much longer I can probably stay out here and play for. What do I do? And you start to get a little bit down, and then that's another challenge. Like I had that happen last year.
Anxiety creeps in and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was middle of the year. We had that long stretch from sort of March all the way through to July, and it was literally away, because by the time I went WA to Queensland swing, finished off up there, it was like I was away for 14 weeks on the road or something like that, and you're running out of money, and you had no money left, and I ended up having to sell the TrackMan, which was what got me through. But it was amazing, because my golf in that 2 weeks that I sold it, having no money to then having some coin to get me through the next 3 months, how much better your mental state is. Like I went into Darwin with, 3 weeks before Darwin, I had no money at all, thinking, I'm not going to be able to, how am I going to have to borrow money off mum to sort of get through it all, or parents and whatnot. And then your mental state, knowing you've got money, it's not actually an issue on the back of your mind. You're just there playing golf and enjoying it. That's probably one struggle I've had over the last sort of few years.
So many, you're not alone on that. Like so many people on our tour have that on the back of their mind. It's kind of like making the cut on the weekend, or, making that top 25 in a pro-am is everything. That couple $100, goes a long way in in the scheme of it. And it is tough. Like it is very tough. And I think, especially last year, like that's the first full year I've had as a pro-am thing. And I played pretty well throughout the whole year. So I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about it. Like I moved from Perth to Melbourne and didn't have much cash, and kind of moved in with my now fiance, and you just kind of get on with life. And lucky she's got a stable job. That's kind of how I see it. I'm like, the worst comes to worst. Like, geez, I just would eat baked beans and baked beans on toast. But that's it's just
2-minute noodles.
2-minute noodles to get through the day. But yeah, mentally, I think that plays on a lot of people's minds, especially in Australia, because we don't have the bigger events all the time, and the scheduling is a lot differently. Like you definitely have to play a lot more pro-ams.
Yes. Especially, I mean, we're not playing for a lot of money in the pro. A lot of the times, you're not playing for a lot of money in the pro-ams.
Yeah. Well, worst comes to worst, mate. You're a PGA pro. Like, geez, you can coach, go up north, bloody, you'd be good to go. But
work back in the shop and coach and
sell Mars bars or something, whatever you want to sell.
Sell Mars bars. It's a tease.
Everyone talks about that stuff, but it's all good. But yeah, you're definitely not alone in this whole mental struggle with that stuff like cash. It's definitely, we're all up and coming pros, and I think people need to just realize you're not alone in that. Like we're all going through it together. And I think it's cool. Like one thing I looked at the pro-am circuit is we're all kind of in it together. Like we're all, I kind of noticed there was like 5-10 of us kind of all stick together, and we're all kind of looking out for each other to save cash or whatever it may be.
Yeah. You got to have those people in your group and to travel with that have the right mindset. Because if you're not, then that's another negative effect that could make you it'll make you play bad, and you'll have another thing on your mind. There's nothing worse than traveling with someone you don't want to travel with, or that's got different ideas where they want to go and where you want to go. You've
got the choice. That's how I'd say you can pick who you choose you want to play with or travel with. I kind of my first couple of weeks playing pro-ams was like, all right, I definitely want to stay with them. I don't want to stay with that person. Like if they have a bad round, you don't want to hang around them outside of golf, because there's so much time. There's so much time outside of golf. Like that's kind of how I've always seen it. But I
enjoyed pro-ams last year. I traveled a lot on my own last year, and you probably know that, especially in Victoria. I just went on my own and stayed with families that I know here and there, and you can you can get up and do whatever you want to do in the days in the mornings and stuff like that. You're not, if you want to go to the gym, or you want to do a little stretch, or you want to go get coffee or breakfast, you can just go and do what you want.
Be your own boss, mate.
Be your own boss. Yeah, you're not really worried about too much with other people, which I enjoy, especially for pro-ams. I found I enjoyed that a lot more.
Yeah.
So because you do get a lot of downtime, but you still hang out with them and you go and have dinner. But you can have dinner and whatever, but it's more just sort of you're doing what you want.
It's that 8 o'clock at night where you just want to sit on the couch and not speak to anyone and just kind of...
Yeah, you just want to sit there and watch Netflix, or you want to...
Watch Netflix and let your brain just... Like, nothing happened today. That guy that stepped on my line, the guy that didn't rake the bunker, all these different things. But yeah, it's...
Wanted to give you a swing tip.
I was just thinking before, I had a really funny one. I hit a chip up to on the edge of the hole, and I'm walking off and I'm putting my bag down, and the guy just whacks it off the green to me. Yeah, that's good. I'm like, I'm playing a bit.
Pick it up, champ.
Pick it up. Just let me tap. So I went over, tapped it back, and I was like, we actually need to finish out today. He's like, you would never miss that. And I said, I know, but the rules are the rules, mate. This is how things slip in and all that sorts of stuff. But it's a grind, the pro-am life. It'll obviously be a lot different post-COVID whenever we come out 100%. Of these times. I had a chat the other week to Nick Dasty about it, and gave away a couple of things. I think they're running a tight schedule right now with all that stuff, but it's just evolving news every week. we don't know how long we're going to be in this lockdown. We're just going to play it by ear. But I think it's not a bad play to kind of look long-term view on it. Like if the worst case happens, like you probably made the best decision going across the border, just for lifestyle.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to James yesterday and he's like, he should have come up with me. Because he just, I think once you sort of, that means you just couldn't go back. You'd have to stay. If you got, like anyone could have got into New South before the lockdown, you just had to stay here. So if you were, for instance, to come to when I came up or whatever, you wouldn't have been able to go back to Victoria at all. So because you've got a New South license, you can go over the border for, shopping or stuff like that, or care, or all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But if you are a Victorian, if you do live in Melbourne or whatever, and you're wearing New South, there's no way you could go back and forth. You'd have to isolate. So, no, it's amazing how many people up here are wearing masks in New South Wales, and we don't have to wear them yet.
It's a matter of time, I think. It's just, all my family's back home, friends and family are in Perth, and, nothing's changed. It's that they're living a normal life. And I'm like, it's just a matter of time, like once I was just thinking about the other day, once they open the borders, when they do eventually a year or whatever it is, if we've been wearing masks for 6 months, they'll just make everyone wear them. If Victorian went to WA and wasn't wearing a mask, they'd feel unsafe. That's how I see it.
100%.
And if someone from WA came here and wasn't wearing one because they didn't have to, it'd be like, no, you're not exempt, champ. Like you need to put a mask.
Yeah. And I was talking to someone the other day and I said, it's funny because Victorians are complaining about wearing masks, whereas Japanese, spending heaps of time in Japan, if they've got any sort of sickness, they wear a mask straight away. Like there's no issues. There's so many people over there wearing masks. As soon as I think it might be one of their, just a culture thing or a courtesy thing. If they are half sick or something, they just wear a mask.
That's
so they don't spread anything.
Yeah.
So whereas we've got people, complaining having to wear a mask at the supermarket or, fair enough, not wearing a mask if you're exercising or, I think you have to have one on you. Is that correct? Or
if you're running, you've got to have one on you or riding a bike. Before it was if you're playing golf, you had to wear one, like literally like on you. But I just wore the bandana kind of. But yeah, it's
like criminal.
Yeah, pretty much. It fit right into the scheme. But it's it's interesting. I think eventually it'll just be more mainstream. I think it even keeps a face a lot warmer. I think summer might be different though. Like I can't imagine when it's 40 degrees and you've got a mask on. You'll have like a funny little mask tan or something.
I seen someone the other day a photo. It was like the old golfer's tan was your whole face, but now it's going to be a mask thing.
Yeah, little string lines.
Little string lines and but it's a different way of the world, and I don't think it'll be a while before we're back to normal anyway.
Yeah. So moving on to that, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to keep trying to golf, or are you just going to stay up there, get a job, and just ride it out?
Well, Dad's not working at the moment in Melbourne, so I could come back when you guys get out of stage 4, but I don't really want to. There's no point, you can't practice. It's like you can't go to the range. There's no practice facilities open. You can't. Hang on, my niece. Oh, you want the drum?
No, you're right.
All right. Bye, my niece. So I don't know. I could go back and work with Dad mowing lawns, or because he's going to be 5 weeks behind. But we can't play. You can't practice.
It's a way of life.
I was working at Flinders Pro Shop with Joshua down there. So I mean, they might be busy again once they open up because they were so busy last time because people just want to play golf.
It's crazy how much people want to play golf now.
Oh, if you own a pro shop or a retail business at the moment, you're making, the government's pumping coin into you. You might as well, they're just spending it, they're buying whatever they want. So
boost that economy.
I got offered, started playing golf with a couple of younger guys up here, and one's a renderer, and he said, do you want to do some work for me and help him out? And so I might do that. We'll start next week. I'll have a chat to him over the weekend, and just to kill some time. I mean, it is hard finding a job as it is now anyway, independent in this sort of times.
Well, like unemployment's nearly at 10% now. They're saying it's crazy.
It's hard for us to get a job, especially too, because we're, you get a job and then you 6 months later say, I'm leaving, or, I've got to play tournaments, but I'll be back in this time.
No one wants to hire you.
No
one
one
wants
to
hire you because
No.
it's uncertain. They want reliability. It's like we might as well hire someone else that is going to come in every day.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of guys do. A few tour guys do work in pro shops too, because they give them that sort of
flexibility,
flexibility, and you can sort of plan and, just as a casual worker, because a lot of pro shops do have so many casual workers, just to you might only do 20 hours a week or something, or 15 hours a week, but it's still a bit of money coming in. It pays your bills for the week rather than sitting around doing nothing, and it gets you off your bum sitting at home, or you don't have to worry about golf 24/7.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just with this whole pandemic, it's kind of given everyone the opportunity to take a second to think next steps. What am I going to do in my life? What do I like doing? What do I don't like doing? Am I really liking the trajectory of my career right now? I've got the chance to change it if I want to. It's interesting. I think a lot of people will actually change what they're doing in their lives.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how many guys come back and play out of this too, because some guys might have jobs lined up, and some guys might not have been playing a lot, and their game's so far behind, so it takes them a long time to get back to where it is too. So it could be interesting to see how many guys actually first event go and play, or something like that. That's what I was talking to my mum about. She said, is there any guys that are sort of not going to play anymore after this? Because you don't know there will be a few guys that probably won't play anymore after this, because they just sort of don't know what to do. They might have a job lined up, and then they're making good money doing that rather than playing. Like if you got offered a job for 70 grand a year, full time, 4 weeks holidays, you'd nearly take it. You'd earn more than what you make now.
Well, you might as well save it. Might as well save it in 4 or 5 years if you want to play golf. Then maybe I've got a couple of dollars saved or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, that's probably out of code. We don't know how long it's going to be around. We won't play. We won't play this year, I don't think. Yeah,
I find it hard to see we playing this year. We may get that wraparound bit. We might get lucky if interstate borders open, but that's unless interstate borders are open, they can't run events when everyone can't come over. Or I know there's some New Zealand players that are exempt here. Like it's not fair on them either. With tour statuses and everything, it's a logistical nightmare. I don't want to be in those shoes that have to make those calls, because I can't imagine the feedback they potentially could be getting, or it's just tough. Like imagine being Dan Andrews right now. Like
not a well liked man by many people, I don't think.
Oh, he's getting hosed, but it's we'll come out. The thing is, we'll come out of this eventually. I think you made a good decision going up there just for your own personal well-being. I think.
100%. I'm so glad I got out of Melbourne. You can just go and do stuff up here. You
can live, mate. You can live.
We're across the road. Like Mum was across the road from the golf club, like literally 200 meters out the driveway. Oh. I went through a tank of fuel. It took 5.5 weeks.
No.
For a tank of fuel. In Melbourne, you go two or three tanks a week.
I was actually quite annoyed the other day. I filled up the car and the next day we went into the lockdown was announced, and I thought if I waited, petrol would go right down because they're trying to sell it. So I got it at like 108, and I was like, geez, it was back to 80 cents the last lockdown. I missed out, but it is what it is. Eventually we'll come out of this. But yeah, I think it's important for everyone to speak up. This is tough on a lot of people's mental health. That's just like a huge thing. I think COVID's a big monster, but this whole mental health thing is huge, especially now. Like they're only letting us going outside for an hour. I feel for a lot of other Victorians, and there's going to be a big fallout of this, and you start to see it now already. It's sad. Just tough. It's like, is this the right thing to do? Anyways, we're not going to talk too much about COVID. It's just, I feel like I'm becoming an expert of it. I'll start working.
Hear about it every day.
I'll start working for the Herald Sun or something. But don't worry about that. No, it's been good to catch up, Burdett. We'll end this segment with a question. I like to always give some people the opportunity to ask me a question. Kind of monitor it a little bit, but
PG rated one or
we'll go PG.
We'll go PG.
Go PG.
I spoke to you before about probably your best round of your life. What's the best one you've ever had in sort of condition wise and tournament wise, or you've thought it's probably been the best round of your life?
I always think of my like best score. Like best score's 10 under. Like I played well. Like I don't think I missed a shot. Like the only shot I thought I got unlucky was like I hit on the 10th hole. I like hit a wedge. It went one bounce, hit the flag, went off the front, and I got it up and down for 4, and I was like 7 under, and I was just like, geez, I'm like literally I didn't miss a shot the whole round. Kind of always look at that one. I didn't miss a shot like the whole round.
Yeah,
they're the ones I kind of look at. But I played a couple of times at PK North and literally hit every fairway, every green, and shoot 1 under. And I literally always look at those rounds thinking, yeah, that's fantastic. Especially, when the pin's in and they got the foam in there. And, I think I might have played a couple of times and I was just thinking, two putt max, we'll just pick it up. I don't want to putt. Like I've really lost my putting because
the noodle sticking out of the hole.
Oh, it's like a goalkeeper. It really rattled my head. So I just thought I'll just concentrate on my hitting right now, see if I can get the ball going straight. But yeah, I've had a few rounds like that. So I kind of, it's really nice when you can literally just hit it as hard as you want and aim at every flag and it just keeps going straight. But when you have control of the ball like that, it's pretty impressive. Like
you always control it. You've got
to that level. to that level, but I'd love to have a day where I have like 18 putts or something. That'll be my next one.
What's your lowest putt? What's the lowest you've had? Do you remember at all?
I think the way my mind like prioritizes it, I don't even know. I don't even look at it. I'm just like, if I have 32 putts and shoot 5 under, it's fine. Like don't worry about it. So I weirdly. I should, because scoring is all dependent on putting, but I don't know. I wouldn't even know what to tell you. Like I think I've had 29 a couple of times. It feels like lately. No, I don't know.
I think I had 21. That's my lowest in a tournament.
Okay, I don't even look at it. I just go, I hit a good shot to 10 feet.
The only reason why was because they were like, hey, how many putts did you hold? Because I hit it horrendous. I think I hit about 6 greens for 5 under or something.
21 putts.
21 putts.
I don't want to hear
it. It was comedy. That. But what's the one thing you've learnt most for going from amateur to professional life?
Like big thing you said before, I loved it. Was manage your finances and trust people. If you don't want to manage them, trust they'll do the right thing by you. Yeah. So keep your circle close, all that stuff. And just you've got to keep getting better as a golfer. Like like how much you can practice as an amateur, and you're only traveling in and out of the country, and you've got the opportunity to work your weeks and really have your schedule right, so you can actually get better throughout the year. You're like, all right, I need to fix my top of my backswing. I need to work on my putting a bit, I need chipping, all this, blah, blah, blah. You can really keep getting better as an amateur. It feels like as soon as you turn professional, it's like, geez, I was nearly better as an amateur. But like, you've kind of got to keep getting better. Like you got to still stay on that trajectory of like knowing that this isn't the best you can get as a professional. You kind of see on the PGA Tour and those guys, they keep managing to get better. Like especially like just the 1%ers, but you keep doing it every year, and you're thinking like you look at Bryson now, you can't argue with him. He's at like literally 192 ball speed, 200 mile an hour ball speed. Like, and he physically looks huge, but he's done that over a period of time, and he's just like be able to get better over the years. That's so important. I think you should never take that for granted. But you can only get.
I mean, 1 second, all right. Yeah, she's Quinn again. Yeah.
Oh,
she's nearly 6. She's 5.5. She's got her helmet on inside. She came to get her bongo drums. We're babysitting tonight, so.
Good on you, mate. Well, thanks for taking the time. I'll let you get back to babysitting and doing all the stuff, mate. But
it's not a problem at all. You enjoy lockdown, and you can't even get out to get your coffee, can you?
No, I just 2 coffees at home. I'm just happy the footy's on. We got up against the Blue Baggers last week. So
they should have lost. You guys got
we got lucky.
Carlton got robbed there. Umpires, you must have been paying some bloke over there because.
Just shut up. You actually should have beat us. You should have beat us. But you guys need to make the 8 so you can kind of just. You're hanging around. GWS losing last night helped you guys out a lot. Yeah, helped a lot 100%. Of teams out. So hopefully you guys can snare that 8th spot. But thanks for taking the time, Mr. Burdett,
right.
and enjoy the
problem.
North, mate.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Cheers.